Hello everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to be learning more about exponents. We will be covering the basics of exponents and then getting into some more detail. So firstly, what is an exponent? Well, an exponent is this little tiny number that you'll find just a little bit above the base. And the base can be any number and so can be the exponent. But the base will be the bigger number and the exponent will be the smaller one. Now, in case you don't really know what this means, what does it mean? Well, it means you're going to be multiplying a by itself m times. Now, if that doesn't make sense, let's use numbers instead of variables. So let's say we have 5 squared. Well, in this case, the base is 5, and we're going to pretend that, it's a. So it's going to be 5 times 5. And then, because the exponent is 2, we're going to multiply 5 by itself 2 times, as shown here. Now, 5 times 5 is equal to 25. Let's go over another example, shall we? So let's take 6 squared. Well, now in this case, what's the base? The base is 6. So you're going to multiply it by itself 2 times because the exponent is 2. And that is equal to 36. Now, there are many different ways you can remember this, but here's just a little chart you might want to write down or maybe just try and memorize, because the best way, I think, is just to memorize it because there's no really other trick than the one I'm going to show you. So 1 squared is 1, obviously, and then 2 squared is 4, and then 3 squared is 9, and then etc. Now, you might be wondering, how do these relate? We'll actually be sharing with you how they relate in just a little bit. Now, how do these relate? That may have stuck on your mind. Well, you're actually going to add the next odd number in between. So 1 squared is equal to 1. So 2 squared is, you're going to add 3 to that. So you get 4. Then you add 5 because that's the next odd number for 3 squared. So as you can see, that's the best way to remember it for now. But this is the best way to remember until you memorize, because memorizing it will make it easier for you to get it in a snap. Just spend 10 minutes of your day for a week and you should get it. Now let's move on to a practice problem. 7 squared plus 12 squared is equal to what? So let's refer back to our chart. 7 squared is equal to 49 plus 12 squared, which back to our chart is 144. Now, we're just going to add those because that's what the problem is asking for. And we get 193. So that's our answer, but in the next couple problems, I will be going more in depth on how we get here and what are the steps we take. So when we're solving equations, we need to do the opposite. And what is the opposite of an exponent? Well, that is actually square rooting a number. So in this example, the square root of 9. So it's basically asking, what squared is equal to 9? If we refer back to our chart, 3 squared is equal to 9. So we know the square root of 9 is 3. Now, this is true. 3 squared is equal to 9. But when we are writing, we're not going to write 3 squared as our answer. We're not going to write an exponent with our base in our answer. We're only going to write the base. Okay? Make sure you write this down somewhere because you don't want to write the exponent with it. Now, so we know 3 squared is 9. So, and if you need help with the base is the bigger number. So, in this example, the answer would just be 3. Now, referring back, we're going to do a little practice problem for what we learned. So, the square root of 36 plus 2 squared plus 4 squared is equal to what? Now, if we just go a little slow, the square root of 36, well, first things first, we need to do Pemdas. Well, I'm pretty sure you all know what Pemdas is because it's really important, and that's how we solve every single equation using Pemdas. Now, E stands for exponents, which is actually what we're learning today. So when you're doing equations, the exponents is going to go before the addition or the subtraction. Now, if we refer back to our chart, 6 squared is equal to 36. So we know the square root of 36 is 6. And 2 2 squared is 4, and 4 squared is 16. Now, if we just simplify this problem, and just remember, what did I do here? I did not put the exponent. I only put the base. Now, if we just simplify it, we're going to get 10 plus 16, which is equal to 26. And 26 is the answer. Now, let's talk about cubing numbers. Now, it's just like how we did before. You're going to take the number and you're going to multiply it instead of 2 this time by 3. So you're basically applying the same fundamental concept, but just with different numbers. So for example, I'm just saying you need to apply them to each other. So here, instead of 5 times 5, you get 2 times 2 times 2. Because the exponent is 3, so you have 1, 2, 3. You have 2, 3 times. Now, if this seems a little overwhelming, you can just break it down. Do 2 times 2, 4, times 2, which is 8. So it's really just breaking down the problem that might help you answer it correctly. Now, we are going to apply everything that we've learned today and do one problem. 2 cubed plus 9 squared plus the square root of 121. So let's break down this problem into smaller parts. 2 cubed is 2 times 2 times 2, because the base is 2, and you're multiplying it 2 by 3 times. And then 9 times 9, because you're multiplying 9 2 times, plus the square root of 121. Now, remember, we have to use Pemdas, which means, in this case, we're going to do the exponents, but we've broken it down into multiplication. But still, multiplication goes before addition. So 4 times 2, because we simplified, well, that's equal to 8, plus 81, because if you look at the chart that we wrote before, 9 squared is equal to 81, and then plus 11, because 11 squared is equal to 121. Now, when we add that all, we get 89 plus 11, which will give us 100 as our answer. Now we're going to do one problem, and you guys are going to do it all by yourself. I know this seems scary, but I assure you, you'll do fine. 9 squared plus 3 cubed plus the square root of 100 plus 8 squared. I'm going to give you 50 seconds. Well, did you do it? Let's go ahead and check. So we're going to break down the problem and follow Pemdas. 9 squared. Well, if we refer back to our chart, 9 squared is equal to 81. Now, we're going to add 3 times 3 times 3 because we're multiplying the base by the number of exponents. So we get 9 times 3 because 3 times 3 is 9, and then you have to add and multiply by another 3, we get 27. And what squared is equal to 100? That is 10. So not 100. So now we're going to add the 8 squared, which if we refer back to our chart is 64. Now let's go ahead and add everything. 81 plus 27 plus 10 plus 64. That is equal to 182. And that is our answer. Congrats, you made it to the end of this video. Whether you needed help with this concept or you just wanted to get some practice in, I hope you learned something new or got some extra practice. It would mean the world to me if you subscribed, and if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. It just told me what I can improve on. And don't feel afraid to leave a comment down below telling me what I can improve on. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye!